Hello fellas, in today's video I will attempt to complete Fallout New Vegas DLC Lonesome Road without taking any damage, while the game is fully randomized, using the fabled FMV randomiser of course. This was harder than the main game, but equally entertaining and funny. Enjoy! As usual, I take the path to the canyon and I start the game, with no enemies or randomized loot around, so nothing is strange for now. I walk into the whole-built bunker, grab a magazine and head inside. The first thing I do is free my good pal Edie, who thankfully isn't randomized at all. I was scared I'd have to walk around with a robot Yawai or something similar. I loot some things and access the commissary. I just sell a few things and buy all the 308 available, for my paciencia of course. After this, I restore the bunker's power and continue on. Soon I spot our first enemy, a tiny sentry bot. He kills me a couple of times. Those rockets are hard to dodge in a small room, but he couldn't handle a single shot from the pulse gun. Pathetic. At this point I was a bit scared that the randomizer wouldn't work on Lonesome Road since not many things were changing, but I quickly realized that wasn't the case when I got attacked by a Yawai cop and destroyed two turrets, which had become a robot and a coyote. I press onwards, take the bunker security codes and activate the mainframe, allowing me to leave the place. I get killed here a couple of times, but I managed to crush the Sentrybot, Robo-Scorpion and Centaur. It's a pretty weird place to be honest. I leave the place and talk to Ulysses through EDE. We have a little intellectual chat and he tells me to go meet him. I level up and continue, exploring the small town that lays ahead. But not before trying some pajamas, they are comfy. I head inside the Hobbilt base and I'm quickly sniped by a marked man. It happened so quick, I couldn't even see the guy at first. He kills me a few times before I use a stealth boy to end him. He's wearing a weird combination of T-51B power armor and an Enclave helmet. Well, too bad. That didn't stop me from painting the wall with his brains. I snipe a distracted marked man while using my stealth boy and go on, looking for the laser detonator that I'll need to blow up those nukes. As if a warning from God, the sky turns red. I find the detonator and then the pain begins. A group of 3 marked men ambush me. One quickly walks into the building I'm at. He's using a knife, so I manage to quickly take him out before he can end me. After they kill me a few times, I managed to kill one with a Gauss rifle, out of pure luck, as he reloaded. I kill the other one and press on, blowing up the first nuke in a really cool way, look. Before leaving the base and the town next to it, I managed to kill a couple of marked men. I fly a bit, die, shoot a guy celebrating his birthday, and continue onward. I blow up the mess covering the tunnel and go in. I expected hell, like knowing well that the tunnelers crawling inside would be a pain to deal with. Without them hitting me at least once, that is. But it wasn't too much like that. EDE tells me a story about his dad, and then I find an invisible tunneler, which is actually just a Nighting with an automatic carbine. He kills me a couple of times before I can defeat him. I fight off an actual tunneler, a Yawai, and a tunneler cosplaying a Robo-Brain. This part was really fun, especially with the gravity so low. I honestly expected it to be way harder than it was. I kill a Night Stalker and then leave the tunnel, but not before grabbing a teddy bear. It's not good for men to be alone after all, we all need a best friend. I leave the tunnel, which I enjoyed a lot, and I get on a Zoom call again with Ulysses, who I defeat with facts and logic in a goofy long-winded debate. As soon as I walk into the high road, I get attacked by a Chinese spy, who I quickly neutralize. I then get attacked by Jimmy, who I also end. I've been lucky most enemies have been using melee weapons, but that wouldn't last for too long. Nothing much else happens on the high road. I die a few times fighting some marked men, but nothing too difficult. If anything, the most annoying part was avoiding some mines at the end of the road, which for some reason exploded too fast before I could deactivate them. I arrive at a small crossroads, where I'm assaulted by Bonzo and his crew. This guy kept blowing me up with his grenades, and it was a pain to take him out, and his crew. I'm glad EDE was there as a good bait, taking all the damage while I sniped Bonzo. Taking out the rest of his evil gang occupying the building was easier. I still died 2 times, but I managed to kill them. One of them had one of my favorite FMB guns, the All-American. This gun would be an extremely useful asset for the rest of the run, trust me. I reached the Ashton control silo and used EDE to activate it. I then launched the ICBM, blowing up the divide for a second time, like a boss. It's always nice looking at this, I like the animation. Oh man, the elevator part was hard, but manageable. I used the All-American to kill the tunnelers, and the creatures pretending to be tunnerers that show up through their eyes. This was awesome. I even fought a Brahmin and a big ass coyote. I barely had enough ammo for the ride though, I almost ran out of 5.56. I didn't get killed too much though, this part was extremely fun, honestly. I leave the cool elevator and walk inside the Ashton silo, which continues to blow up. I destroy a sentry bot with my mighty pulse gun, and then use an autodock to remove all my radiation. As I leave the lower part of the silo, I fight off a Yawai puppy and a super mutant monster, which evaporizes in a really badass way. I walk into a collapsed building, play with hostile creatures, I crush a Night Stalker, and then a Ghost Trapper who kept stabbing me, and a Robobrain. I die a couple of times here. These boys were tough. I finally arrive at the divide. I take a second to kneel at the edge of the collapsed tower and admire the landscape, or what remains of it. From here I snipe a group of marked men that were chilling outside. I'm glad I took them out quickly since one of them had an alien gun, which I couldn't find when I went looking for the bodies, which pissed me off a lot. I really wanted it. Oh well, I kill a Spore Carrier literally a millisecond before he kills me. This one was intense. A group of marked men ambushed me and EDE. One of them was invisible and had a good gun, but I detonate the last one using a nuke. That one felt nice. I walk into a building and fight off a Brotherhood member using a Nuka Breaker. A surreal combination. I also find a new hat, which I quickly adopt. I quite like the look of it. After crossing that building, I enter the cave of the Abaddon. This place was spooky. For example, the first enemy I faced was a Cyberdog with a machine gun in his mouth. He annihilated me a couple of times before I could put him to sleep. I talked to EDE a bit and then continued to explore the cave. I even take a picture here, since the world design is so cool. I really like this interior. Before leaving the cave, I'm faced with the Three Stooges, a massive wild dog, a giant gecko, and Mr. Steel, who, true to his name, was tough to kill. I heal my rats with an autodock and walk inside the buried buildings, which leads me outside. The end of the road is near. Here Ulysses steals EDE, taking him away from me, but it doesn't matter, I'm near his temple. I will rescue my friend. I go down the collapsed building and I'm suddenly attacked by a couple of marked men. One of them had a Gatling laser, which for some reason was extremely precise and wouldn't stop killing me. He would also heal himself every time I would manage to hit him. I died here a ton of times. This part of the run was probably the most tedious and hard, but after a few tries I defeat my foe. On the other side of the valley I'm attacked by the legendary Blade, the tough motherfucker. He was wearing a hospital gown and wouldn't stop throwing dynamite at me. Hey, if it works, right? And it did work. I would not stop dying here. It wouldn't help Blade was using a stealth boy, so I couldn't use bats against him. After dying a dozen times to his dynamites and the mines he had left around, I managed to snipe him with my paciencia, and I continue inside. I reach my destination and quickly notice how Ulysses' places is a mess. Damn, courier, you live like this? I open a door and I'm terminated by a sentry bot, the most annoying enemy of this run. He kills me a few times and then I manage to take out half his health with the pulse gun, before running out of ammo. That wasn't a problem though. He destroys himself with his own missile launcher, dummy. I destroy another sentry bot, and then rescue my pal EDE. After that, I take the elevator to meet Ulysses. This fight was really tough. He must have killed me a couple of times before I managed to kill him. It wasn't as difficult as in the vanilla game, though, since he had a smaller size and therefore less health. Well, sleep well, my fellow courier. I take out the rest of the robots and the marked men, some of which were invisible for some reason, and one was a naked maniac with a knife, and I finally get to breathe a little after all the shooting. After that, I head to the control panel and I finally do it. I launch the nukes. But, since I'm a Mr. House fan, I send nukes to both the NCR and the Legion, crushing their supply lines and hindering their ability to affect our beloved tax-free nation forever. And so it ends. I escape Ulysses' bunker as it explodes, and complete Lonesome Road, fully randomized and without taking any damage. This run was ironically harder than the main game, but even more fun I think. Give it a try if you want, I quite enjoy playing it. I wanna thank you all for watching the video. I fixed some audio issues I had with my editing software this time, and I should have way better audio quality than before. Please like and subscribe. I will be uploading more videos soon. I think my next challenge will be the best one so far, so stay tuned. This is Pelagius B, and goodbye.